Saturday's in the books for round 24. My goodness, this was a low-scoring game, and it was a pretty lowly affair, to be honest with you. The Rabbitohs kind of really struggled through the first half. It did get a little bit better for them, but yeah, aside from a couple of pretty cool moments, it was a pretty dire affair. And let's just start with as I said, the low scoring there. Matangi with 51, and there were no updates to this game, which is the weird thing. Overnight, the other games I was bit strange. The other two games had updated before, and then we still didn't even get an update overnight. So I'm not sure if something's going to change with any of these scores, but nonetheless, let's keep it at that. I doubt that it'll change too much, if I'm being honest. I was looking at Murray's scoring and watching that game. He didn't actually have any tackle breaks or offloads or anything, and it looked like the Latrell's was pretty much on point. So yeah, I doubt there's going to be too much change on that one. But let's just focus. I need to focus on it because I was blowing up at the time. The Latrell Mitchell second try assist when every single person was offside. Mainly him. He was the furthest offside, who was the person that ended up getting the ball. They waited ages to check it. I'm not sure if they actually checked it, but it just came down to try. Both him and then obviously who he passed it to and Cody Walker were both clearly offside. And the amount of these decisions that they make where it's like, oh no, he's like half a centimeter offside, or it was half a centimeter forward, when most people are like, yeah, it's a line ball, play on, like, look fine in the heat of the moment. But in these ones, when you can check it, something's got to give. There's, whether it's the refs' decisions on the field, and then that's the whole point of this bunker, is to get them right off the field, and it's not happening again. Anyway, it was 7 points to Latrell, so it obviously helped him out and helped owners of him. The main issue there is the fact that obviously with Latrell, I don't own him, and it was probably 25% of the top 100 that in top 1,000 that grabbed him. So yeah, that was the frustrating, but obviously just the rules for the game, like the amount of people that are just going to turn off. The amount of people that are just on the edge of not watching anymore, and then things like that happen. Yeah, because I was talking to a few guys in the group chat, and I was like, well, what if that was your side? What if that was against your side? Like, they were laughing because they were happy because they had Latrell, but I was like, yeah, what if it was what if it was against the Broncos? What if it was against whatever your team is? And that happened. So yeah, super frustrating for those people there. Dan Russell was a fun one. He was like 7 in 26 minutes and then ended up 48. So yeah, his work ethic's great. You end up with 2 turnover tackles as well. Same with Ryan Couchman there, who had a few interesting moments, and one, thankfully for him, overturned captain's challenge, which worked out well. Cam Murray, I was actually kind of expecting this game, but it was going to be more for the fact that I thought that the Bunnies would kind of roll over him, and he wouldn't need to play massive minutes. So he didn't get the 80 this time, the 67, but he ran the ball enough. 123 meters there, no tackle breaks, no offloads, and just 4 in negatives, and 38 tackles, given that it was fairly stop-start, lots of errors, lots of penalties, and the like that you see a lot of these guys here. Cody Walker with 3, a lot of people there with 2 in the error count, which and then a couple up top for Matangi and the like. So yeah, it just wasn't the kind of game for Murray unless he was getting attacking stats. And I suppose after the last 3 weeks of him dominating, we can cop a type of score like that for sure. Cody Walker with a try assist and a try there. Damien Cook back to sort of normalcy for him this year. He's going to be a very interesting one for next year as well. Given we're 4 weeks out from the end of the season now. What about AJ? 2 tries and 39. So yeah, shows what he can do on a regular basis, even when he's scoring tries. Jacob Little, for those that still own him, 36 and a 59. So a few less minutes this week, and just not much happening on the attacking side. They're much more of a dangerous side when he's out and running, I believe anyway. Molo, 36. Thought you'd probably get a few more points, a better PPM with his minutes available. You had Billy Burns with 35. So the last 2 weeks haven't been as good for him. Came out of the box really firing, and I think something to note week to week, guys, and season to season. Look at it in blocks of like 4 or 6, and if guys are absolutely dominating and they're making lots of tackles and they're working really hard, especially if they're not used to it, you can look at like guys like Isaiah Yeo, who's obviously clearly used to it, the 80, and he wants the 80 each and every week, where some guys just aren't. Especially at this NRL level, if he's been playing reserve grade, comes out and he's fit and firing and he's ready to go and he's pushing for a spot. He's got his spot now, and things have just dropped off a little bit, and it could just be through fatigue. It could just be through being confident in having your spot in the side. There's something to note. I want to look at a bit further next year as well, and something I think you should as well. It's just guys going on runs, not because of just like luck or anything. It's more because of they're out there fit, they're firing, and then they kind of fall off fatigue wise a little bit. So yeah, it'd be cool to have a little look at that. going into next year. Talis Duncan, I think he's a really, really special player. He's going to be very, very good. He's someone that we need to look at for the future and could be one for next year. The main issue here is what they end up pricing him at. If he plays the next few games and does pick up some 30 odds, then he could be priced way too high, unfortunately. But I feel like if there's a injury to like a Cam Murray or one of those big minute middles, then he's going to be the next guy off the rank, that's for sure. But they do have a bunch of guys injured at this stage. With Sele, with Totola out and the like. Sloan showed, definitely some ability in certain points. Tass with 28. A little bit low for him, but it did have a line break and a try assist, just 4 missed tackles and a penalty. Cooked him a little bit. You had Lovett, who we mentioned for 1 or 2 weeks there. And that's it. That's that game. There was not too much fantasy relevance there. I only had the one player myself. Tigers up against the Warriors, the Wars. So they got the win. Wasn't super pretty, but they got there. And the Tigers actually played solid in a lot of parts of that game, which was nice for them. Adam Fanua-Blake, a lovely try to finish things off. And there's another one of those guys over the last 2 weeks, a 50-odd last week into a 76. So a very, very lovely average there in the mid to high 60s across those 2 weeks, which is lovely. In the mid 60s, I should say, which is great. Exactly what you would have hoped for. And if you, we thought he might be able to get a try or two over the last 5 weeks. And there was one of them there for sure. The big news of this game was Isaiah Papali'i. After his 39 last week, a big, big improvement with his 62. So back to that 50 average across the 2 weeks, which is really all I'm hoping for from this point on. And there were so many times where it was obviously a whack to the throat of Wade Egan, unfortunately. And then Appy was in there going, "Oh, that was the same thing that happened to me," which was funny, but so true. Like they giving some of them on report, some of them sin bins. I can't really work it out what's going on. Like all of them have been extensions, and I don't know. It's hard to work out because obviously there's height differences, and you're allowed to kind of have your bumper bar up, but it's like, can you push out with your elbow? Can you push out with your hand? I'm not, there's a little bit of a grey area with that. And it's obviously based on height. Like if Tino's doing it to Appy, then it's straight at his neck height. If he does it to a bigger man, that's why you don't see many concussions from these bigger guys. It's mainly the smaller guys. And that's definitely something to look at with your teams week to week and year to year as well, is do you select that smaller guy just for a safety reason? Do you go for one of the bigger guys? That's why you see Payne Haas never get concussed. You don't see Tino copping a head knock and the like there. So anyway, big important one from Papali'i to get this score. What I was meaning is he's just throwing himself at tackles, and after that incident, I was just waiting for him to come up and get whacked, but he ended up copping one. Looked like maybe it wasn't flush in the neck or in the throat. Anyway, it was in the neck, but lucky that he was able to keep going, and a big score of 62 in that one there. Dane Laurie showed some of his skill. My goodness, there, incredible work. 3 try assists and a try, basically keeping the Tigers together, to be honest with you, in this one. So he did a really, really good job for 59 points. Api Coruscant worked really hard for his 56, and obviously 3 goals as well. As I was saying, the last few weeks, he's that kind of looper guy week to week, and low one last week, massive one a couple of weeks ago, 56 in this one there. Tohu Harris there, the 56, so just keeps getting lucky with positioning. Well, he's putting himself in the position. I just mean the defense, like they were up by 4 at this time, the Warriors. You would have expected some better defense from the Tigers, but that was piss poor, and you got 1-on-1 with, I don't know, who was it? Dane Laurie, maybe? Someone's a lot smaller than him anyway, like a meter out from the line, and Tohu just finding the line at the moment. Very, very good work from him. So a saved score and played the full 80, which was interesting. So obviously with the closer game, they're like, yep, you've had your rest over certain weeks, and we want to make sure we win this game. And this was a good one to get. So well done for Tohu there. Bateman had a couple of good runs as well. So he had a line break and a line break assist. Actually, that's something I want to talk about, because both Tohu and Bateman, obviously own Bateman, I don't own Tohu there, but the pass that he threw for Mitch Barnett, that he went straight through, and then it goes on to a try from Metcalf, I believe, at the start. How Tohu only gets 2 points for that is ridiculous. Like, it's an incredible play, and to only get 2 points is very, very sad. And then Bateman had a lovely ball through as well. I think Laurie or one of the boys ended up scoring on the end of it with a few more passes, but just crazy that that's only 2 points. Just terrific, poetry in motion football with those kind of passes, those short passes through the line from big men is very impressive. And that was that there. with Bateman. We'll take the 55 after last week. Didn't get moved into the centres, thank goodness. Some decent, yeah, you can see here just much better scoring across the board there. Heaps more plays in the 50s. You had Ford there with 53 with a line break as well, so still going about his work and 100% taking that at 638k. Johnson, so this is a weird one. I don't know. So no injury, it sounds like. Did a bunch of his good stuff. 2 try assists there. And tackling was fine. Obviously, good run, decent run meters of 59 and decent kick meters and a forced dropout. But he gave up his goal kicking to Adam Pompey. And I'm not sure if this was more just a play to, if Johnson was to get slightly injured or something happens to him in general and they need someone to be able to kick goals, it was just giving him a bit of game practice. And they might have targeted this game against the Tigers to be able to do that a little bit. And because Johnson took over the goal kicking in the last 2 kicks, I believe, or 2 of the last 3. And it was more just like, okay, Pompey, like, you felt solid. I think he just missed his sideline conversion. So, it was pretty decent on his front. So maybe that was more the play. Let me know if you know more about the situation in the comments, and I'll explain it, or I'll talk about it in the next video for sure. But yeah, that's what I saw in that one. Shawnee Bloor 50, but for those that did captain him, I should say that kind of hurt. He would have got a mid to high 50s with a few of those extra goals. But wasn't to be. Shawnee Bloor, how good's he going? 50 in 31 minutes, just so impressive. Just 1 line break in there, but just the work ethic there. 24 tackles, 100 meters, 5 tackle breaks, and 3 offloads there as well. Stafford Toa, a much better game for him. 2 tries. Barnett, a lovely line run. Still only 46 in 47 minutes. A good PPM. Metcalf, the 45. You still own him. Clem, he's going to get real cheap, isn't he? Very, very interesting on that front. Dallin, that try that he scored, absolutely incredible. He's a marvel at that. He's probably would you say he's the best of the game at the moment? At scoring those acrobatic tries on the wing. He scored a lot of them this year, that's for sure. Kyle Felt's pretty good at it too, I'd say. They're 2 of the guys that really stand out. Selwyn Cobbo, probably more a little bit to do with his strength and speed, I'd say, more than the acrobaticness. But yeah, Buller 30. So yeah, a little bit of a fall from grace. Yeah, line break and a try assist and a try saver, and still only got 30 is a bit sad in this one, especially when it was a fairly close game. He just hasn't kicked on the last few weeks. And Jastavanga, we might be able to get him cheap next year. Should be fun if he gets a few more lower minute games out of him. But again, we keep looking at next year already. Unless you're going to win the comp, we're looking to get a good rank and a good head-to-head and go into next year. Okay, let's finish off with the last one here. And Drew Hutchison, what a game from him. It was a little bit annoying just because I was wanting Teddy and Manu points, but yeah, how soft the defense was back on the inside a little bit. But good footwork, good knowledge of where the gaps were from Hutcho and his first ton, I believe. And I was thinking about when he scored that try, I was like, he's going to need his first ton. He was 97 overnight into a 102 with the updates, but 12 tackle breaks and 2 offloads for Hutcho, 160 meters gained. Very, very impressive work from him. I've seen a few people on Facebook groups have him in like position 6 or something like that, which is funny. And they're like, how the hell do I get him? And I didn't think they could. How do I get his score anyway? Butcher, 78. So back to one of his best games. And they were terrorizing that right edge defense with Valtafade, with Nicarima and the like there. So yeah, they really targeted that well with Kiri and Butcher, and he runs a terrific line, so it worked out perfectly, along with the big tackle numbers in this one. So as I said, just week to week, big change-ups from Butcher, and I was a little bit jealous of those when he was going through. He should have probably had more tackle breaks and offloads there, and a few times that he kind of got almost through, made plenty of meters, but got tackled, just before the line was broken because there was still someone hanging on to him. So massive score from him. Nichols and Wallace did great as well. That flick pass from Jared Wallace was very impressive. 4 offloads again. He's so good. Tyrrell May, another one of those guys that just with that PPM has just been killing it. 57 in 39 minutes. Well done. Billy Smith, I should say, 54 in the 80. He's just showing his class. I can't wait for him to get a full season on the park because he's too big, too strong a lot of the time. And they've got a few guys that just run so hard and no preservation for life. And he's one of them in tonight's game. And I think could have been a second try. Oh, no, you got one really good try, obviously, and there could have been more from that. So, yeah, crazy. For those who grabbed Suoli'i, he's obviously had a really good game there, 52. If he was covering for Drinkwater, like I heard some people say, then happy days. Jermaine Asako, he was like 31 or 30-something, and then massive updates from him to 51, so they missed out on a lot with obviously try savers and turnover tackles. Teddy, the 49, it was a lot of him doing his own thing. He had a line break, he had a try assist in there as well. So a little bit across the board, 11 tackle breaks. A lot of it was on his own doing. Just with, as I said, in that second half, it was just Hutcho going over for tries and, just hard to get things going there. But a try assist to Joe Manu was beautiful to watch. So 43 for him. Again, just still 170 meters, surprisingly enough, but doesn't feel like he's getting that much involved. Like he could be getting 250 300 meters easily and putting the Roosters in a good position. But very happy for Hutcho kind of running the team here and doing a cracking job. Hammer with 32. They had a lot of head injury assessments in this one. The big one obviously is going to be Lemuelu, but we'll get him to him in a second. We'll go Brandon Smith first, but he's 30 in 35 minutes. Actually a good PPM for him, but minutes-wise just isn't happening this year. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Brandon coming into next season. Hopefully he's very much fit when he comes into next season, and I think everyone's going to get caught in the Brandon Smith trap again. If he's going to end up at like a 35 average for the season, then how are we not going to buy him? Because he'll be cheaper than he was at the start of this year, which is funny as. Wong with 26. We had, Lem with 25. So he's doing really well. He got a line break, an offload, and 3 tackle breaks there. And he's 27 minutes. Did really, really well. But unfortunately, a Cat 1 head injury. So he went off there. Likely to be out next week, but who knows after what happened last time. And he got to end up coming on and play. Came on and play. So he's very highly owned. So that was obviously good for my team. Thankfully for those, 27 minutes could have been like 11 or 12. So thankfully it's at 25. And to be honest, he beat my Penasini by 6 points in 53 less minutes, which is hilarious. Sandon Smith 24 in the 49 minutes. He's getting so many more minutes than Brandon Smith, which is weird. So that's that. And it sounds like Jeremy Marshall-King is out for the season now. So he's gone skis, and Harrison Graham becomes someone that comes into contention, and he's definitely someone that I'll look at as a Brennan Hands quick swap over, and I could likely play Harrison Graham considering he was scoring really, really well in his 80 minutes. I'll definitely be looking at him personally for those last 3 games. So definitely have a look at that yourself. Just aggravated that injury again. And then Valtafade 17. He had a couple of good runs in that last little stanza, which netted him 3 tackle breaks. But just hopefully he didn't have to play him. Thankfully I didn't. And hopefully no injuries and stuff happened in this last game. And welcome back to Dylan Napa just trying to shot blokes. But that's that video, guys. That's the 3 games on Saturday. We have 2 to go. I have 5 players to come in. I've got Garrick's 50 to come in still, and then four players from there. So most people have the Ponga, Horsburgh, and Grant. I've got Max King as well, and then Ruben Garrick's hopefully making a bunch of ranks. I think if you have 3, you can hold tight. 4, you'll make ranks. 5, you'll make good ranks. 6, even better from there. Good luck in today's games.